Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Jamie and Marcus here.
Welcome to Test of Thyme, episode number 16.
Excellent.
Love,
passion,
and hustle.
in the restaurant business.
Our love, passion, and our hustle. So we've done for the last 20 years at our restaurant. Unique situation. We're a couplepreneur, and we love working together. And we've been up and down everywhere as far as success, failure.
Failures are important, right? Failures are really important because it makes you push harder to want to do better and to do more and just to excel. So I think people that fail, I think it helps make them a better rounded person. 100%. Right?
Failure is part of the success and learning process
in everything.
Yep.
In not only in business, but in sports, in life in general, right? If you have a failing marriage, you're going to figure out how to do it better the next time, or change things while you're in the marriage. I think people, in my opinion, I think people give up way too easily instead of trying to change things. So
I do too.
In all aspects of life, I think it's really, really important. You're never going to, I've said this to you for years, we're never going to see eye to eye on everything. We're not the same person. We're never going to see eye to eye. And there are going to be things that we disagree upon. There's going to be things that we fight about. There's things that, I think we've gotten much better over the many years about fighting, but I think that, you fight for what you believe in sometimes. And I think that, things that are super important to either of us are things that we argue about, or, we feel very strong and opinionated about. We are two Aries, so we definitely are opinionated people. So, but anyway, back to, we were talking about failures a little bit and about passion and stuff like that.
So. Of course, there is a way to learn from other people's failures.
Absolutely.
But there's nothing like learning from your own as well. But there are, there's books, there's mentors, there's coaches, all kinds of things, people that you can look up to that you can actually learn and take shortcuts, which is really recommended to take these shortcuts. But sometimes you will experience failure.
But taking shortcuts sometimes isn't always the right answer, because you have to learn by doing.
Yeah,
right.
Of course,
so when you talk about shortcuts, you're talking about things that other people have failed upon, right?
Yes.
And you're taking the shortcut to get there, because
you're taking learning lessons from other people's failures.
Exactly.
You're not taking shortcuts to take think you're gonna not a bad shortcut. These are good shortcuts.
Right. You take a shortcut through a river and you have to wade through the water. That wasn't quite a shortcut, even though it got you there 15 minutes faster. So.
Yeah, and now you're soaking wet.
Soaking wet and you have no clothes. Exactly.
Right.
So when we talk about shortcuts, and taking things from other people, we're talking about learning from other people's mistakes and trying not to make them yourself. So
what are we talking about today?
What did we say? We were going to talk about
creating something unique.
Yes, and having a passion for something, which always comes up in our conversations, because we have a passion. We have a passion for helping people. We have a passion for our restaurant. We have a passion for building culture with our staff. We have a huge passion in all of those things that we do.
So let's talk about building something unique.
Excellent. So how does that happen? When we talk to a lot of restaurateurs, they're just fine just doing the basic thing all the time. They buy from Cisco, they buy from big companies, US Foods, they buy from big companies, and they're okay with that.
Big wine companies, big liquor companies. So my biggest problem is when we go away a lot, we travel a lot. And when you go into a town, like this just happened in upstate New York to us. We went to a small town, we were watching our son play baseball, and we go from one restaurant to another restaurant, two different restaurants, and they both have
the same wine.
Same wine list.
The same wine list.
Same back of the bar.
And it was just like, wow. That's boring.
I know there's certain standard things that every bar, restaurant, wine situation is going to have. Like you're going to have Pinot Grigio, but why all have Ecco Domani? Why all have Santa Margherita?
Right.
These are things you go into a liquor store for and you find floor stacked, and the big poster in the window that it's on sale. And when you walk into a restaurant, I think those things are a bit devalued because you can find them anywhere. A long, long time ago, there's a great beer store here in the Hudson Valley, and it's called Halftime. And he's been around for a long, long, long time. He's the first like big beer store. And I was talking to him years ago. He said to me, he goes, Marcus, it's nice to have the Duvel. It's nice to have those brands. But he goes, when you look down this road, he showed me all these beers. He goes, this is all blind priced. He goes, nobody else has these beers. Nobody knows what they should be going for. Nobody knows what I paid for them unless you do some research. He goes, so I have blind pricing in here. I can basically charge extra. And it's extra for the work that I've done in researching to get the beer here and my knowledge, which isn't much if you're into it and it's your passion. And I said, wow, that makes sense, right? So now when you walk into a restaurant, and I got to tell you, most restaurants have Santa Margarita. Most restaurants have Santa Margarita Pinot Grigio. It's just a standard
but
wine.
By the glass, but
by the
bottle.
bottle. I have no idea how much it sells for. And that would be something really cool to look up. And I think we can find that out while we're sitting here talking. I don't have that website open. However, let's say the prices are paying $20, which might be $20 Santa Margarita a bottle. There's Pinot Grigio that is far better for $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12 a bottle. That you will make far more margin, and there won't be so much sticker shock. And let's face it, if you're buying, if people are going to walk to the store and buy Santa Margarita for $20 or $30 in the store,
they don't want to pay
50, 60 bucks in a restaurant. They're going to be like, man, I'm getting ripped off. There's a restaurant selling to me for $60. I go in the store and get it for $22, $23. They're ripping me off. But if you're going to find a Pinot Grigio that nobody else can find in a liquor store, very hard to find in a liquor store, there's no price comparison. There's blind pricing. So now what the restaurateur, the owner, the operator has to do is be a little more creative. And I got to tell you, this is the theme. The last food show, I don't think you went to the New York Food Show with me because I ran in and out that one day.
Right.
There was a guy there doing consulting on wine lists. He goes, I'm trying to get all these big brands out of restaurants and have them show restaurateurs they need to be more profitable or how to be more profitable. Since that, I've heard several people say the same exact thing. Yesterday we were with a wine broker, and she was like, it's amazing how a lot of these restaurants just do the same. There's no thought process. There's no thinking. They just do and go with the same thing, and they devalue their list drastically. Are they still going to sell Santa Margarita? They are. Are they still going to sell Josh Cabernet? They are. But why when you can make more money on other things? So this is, I think, the part about being unique, that unique factor of your restaurant, which takes a little bit of energy to do some work. Thought,
energy, just thinking about it a little bit more is really important. And if there's one thing that you can take home from this, today, this podcast, is think about where you're going to have the best margins on your wine list and your wines and your beers. And those are the unique wines that are out there that nobody knows about. Because honestly, when we're a little different, because we have a lot of invested interest in wines.
We have wine knowledge.
And we're a little bit different when we go out to eat, but we want to see something different on a wine list. And really, people are just going to order a Pinot Grigio. They're not really going to care which Pinot Grigio it is. They're not going to care which Sauvignon Blanc it is. But if you can get a better price on a better wine that's not mass produced, or it's not all over the place where you see it every restaurant, every wine and liquor store, then buy that one.
Right.
Buy that one.
That one, do. So now a lot of restaurateurs are going to say, well, I don't know about wine. It's true. Some restaurant owners don't even drink wine, know nothing about wine, know nothing about it. So that's when you have to then go to your
you have to rely on your salespeople.
Then you go to your salesperson and say, listen, like the first thing I ask a lot of places, and a guy came to sell us some Bacanora yesterday, and I was a little upset that they went on a local other place to sell some. I was like, because that doesn't.
I was actually surprised that you got any. I was actually quite surprised that you ordered as much as you did,
The owner was here.
knowing that, but it's a great brand. And I mean, it's a good brand. The product is good. The value was
The owner
good,
came to see us,
and the owner came to
and
see
he
us
invited
and
us,
invited us to go visit him.
Mexico.
So that's,
And
and I got that.
And I asked twice, I said, that other restaurant bought that much?
Mhm.
Because I know the other restaurant doesn't buy stuff like that. And like, so I want to differentiate myself. And I'm like I my this most salespeople that we do business with know that, hey, if you're coming to our town to sell me something,
Don't go
I'd
anywhere
appreciate
else.
you don't go anywhere else. And we can't stop other people from ordering it,
Mhm.
but if you're going to walk in with the owner or with the sales and sampling it, you're encouraging other people. There's 26,000 registered wines in New York State. 26,000 registered labels with the state that are
Wow, it's
being
a
sold
lot of
right now.
wine.
And other states have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. That's a ton of wine. It's an insane amount of wine. Like, I know, like, let's say San Juan, Puerto Rico, right? You go there and everybody's got the same wine list
You can't get, yeah.
because it's a small island. There's only so much available. And it's like, wow, but I'm sure there's other things that people aren't using in there that could be used. And that's gonna take, but if you're in a normal state, you just contact your liquor rep and you say, listen, I don't want stuff that's in the stores. I don't want stuff that's floor stacked. I want stuff that comes from a smaller production. People don't know much about it. And most salespeople can help guide you in that direction.
But a lot of restaurateurs, a lot of, well, I guess restaurants, they're just there to make money and quick and easy. So they don't want to take the time to go and research and call their reps. The rep shows up, they taste it, they buy it, or they have the same things behind their bar. They have the big brands behind the bar. That's all people ever ask for. And they don't take the time to train
So
their
you made a
staff
point
either.
before about making higher margins. Barefoot, we can make high margins, can't we? Or no?
I don't think so. I don't think you can make as high of margins on barefoot.
Barefoot, no. You know
No.
why? Because here's what restaurateurs say.
Because you can go into the store and buy a bottle for $6, right?
Yep.
And why would I pay $12 for a glass of barefoot in a restaurant?
When I see barefoot in a restaurant, I know they put zero
Zero
effort into wine. Zero effort, zero. So barefoot, true, you can walk into the store, even though barefoot is dirt cheap, the margins are going to be much lower in barefoot because there's no blind pricing. So
Well, can you charge $8?
I want people to understand that buying cheaper products isn't the answer. Buying a product that isn't distributed as much at a better value is the answer,
right?
Which takes a little more research.
Yes.
Now, sometimes salespeople don't even know. We have one salesperson where I said, I want to order this wine. He goes, we don't have that. We don't have that anymore. I had to message the owner of the vineyard. And she was furious. She's like, Marcus, they have my wine. I can't believe this. She was furious. She's like, who's your salesperson? I can't believe this. And like, I had to go back then to the importer and then to the company. And so I was like, oh, I didn't know we had it. Like, were you misspelling it or what were you doing? Like, you didn't know you had it. So sometimes the salespeople,
Don't
now here's
know.
the problem with the salespeople. They're getting higher, what do I want to say? Bonuses. They're getting bonuses if they're getting Kendall Jackson places, so many places.
Mhm.
So let's say Jack Daniels comes out with a new flavored whiskey, or Cuervo comes out with something new, or it's a new Bacardi rum. These guys
They get a
and
bonus,
gals
yeah.
have to get so much new placement every month. So they walk into all month long, they're like, I need to place this in 20 new placements this month. That's all they're focusing on that month, is doing those 20 placements of, Bacardi dragon fruit, whatever it is.
But you know what? We need to change the way that these companies are working. And we are not going to be able to do it alone. We need other restaurants out there doing the same thing that we're doing. And they need to stop them from doing this kind of stuff. And they need to explain to the sales rep, we need a relationship. We don't want to just buy something because you're walking in the door with it.
Right.
And
so I think the biggest fear for most restaurants is not having something that other restaurants have. So I think that if you're a restaurateur, tell me if this is true. If you don't have the Santa Margarita, you're afraid because people are going to drink Santa Margarita somewhere else. They're not going to come to you because you don't have Santa Margarita. If you're a tequila bar, if you're doing tequilas, they're not going to come to you if you don't have Patron. So you put Patron there, and you put those other celebrity brands, Casamigos and the Clase Azul, even though you know they aren't that good and they're overpriced, but you know if you don't have Clase Azul, people aren't going to come to you. If you don't have Patron, people aren't going to come to you. Is that true? Is that mindset true?
I'm sure there is a bit of that
Now,
mindset out there.
is that the reality?
No, I think people, if you tell somebody, well, listen, look at us 20 years ago. We did not have Heineken. We did not have Bud Light. We didn't have Budweiser. We had none of that in the restaurant. We decided from the beginning we were not having that at our restaurant. I mean, that was kind of our start. And you know what? People walked in. We didn't have it. They walked out.
Certain times they did.
Certain times, not all the time. Now, forget it. If someone says I'll have a Coors Light or whatever and you don't have it, but let me taste you on this. It takes training to be able to train people to think a different way. And it's taken us a while, but it's easy to do if you are willing to put in the effort and the time to do it. I mean, that is the bottom line.
Bottom line is the whole theme of everything we do is training. Train your staff and train your guests.
And train yourself to want to be better at what you do.
So I just heard last night, Courtney, our daughter, say somebody came in and asked for a Hennessy.
Oh.
Did you hear this?
No, I didn't hear this. I wasn't there.
So somebody came in, a friend of a friend, they came in, they asked for a Hennessy. And Courtney, our daughter, said, we don't have Hennessy, but I have cognac. He goes, well, what's cognac?
They don't even know what it is.
He's drinking Hennessy, which is cognac.
Don't even know.
Has no idea. No idea. And I guarantee you, somebody like that could work in a restaurant and is going to give a stupid answer to a guest. Well, we don't have cognac. I mean, the Hennessy is sitting right on the on the bar, right?
If you think about why people order like an Absolute and tonic, they don't even know what. Like they know Absolute is a vodka, but they don't. It doesn't matter. It's like a Kleenex and a tissue, right? Kleenex is the brand of a tissue.
So when we were in high school, this one kid goes, "Oh yeah, we were drinking Absolute and we were drinking vodka," and we're like, "Dude, that's the same thing." Right. So people just
right.
They don't.
They just don't know because they haven't been educated. And it's our job to educate. And that is what we are. So restaurant owners, right?
So now there was a restaurant here in our area, 10, 15 minutes away from here at one point where I would hear the wine rep say that the chef owner doesn't drink. So he doesn't know what to buy. He doesn't drink. And a lot of the stores in our area, our liquor stores in our area, are owned by Indians, and they typically don't drink. So when you walk into, not all of them, because our one good friend does drink, who's Indian, who owns a store, but there's a lot of Indian stores that are owned that they don't drink, and you walk in, and they have no clue what you're talking. They have no clue because they can't tell you. They're going all by the shelf talkers, the labels on the shelf, and the rating. So the bottle needs to put the rating 89 points, 91 points, 88 points, whatever, best value. But there's a lot of situations like that. And that carries right over into the restaurants. That mentality carries. And folks, if this is your business, if you own a liquor store, wine shop, if you own a restaurant, it is your job to know this. If you have a liquor license, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but it is your job.
I agree. I mean, that's what you're there for. Your job is
see the back shelf here. If you're watching the audio, these are books. Books educate you. I have tons of books.
We have tons of Audible books
on
tape.
You can literally take Kevin Zraly's Windows in the World book and read it through in a very easy read. And even the first couple editions you can read. Then they're small books and you can know the basics. If you do not know the basics on wine or liquors or things like that, you go to your salesperson and you say, please come in and teach my staff and myself Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc.
That's how I learned. That's how we learned, right?
Bring us a tasting. When we opened, I knew a little bit about wine. I knew more. Let's put it this way. When we opened in 2003, I knew more about wine than most restaurateurs, which compared to what I know now is nothing.
Yeah.
I knew nothing back in 2003, but it was more than most restaurateurs because it's part of my profession, it's part of my career. So if you own a restaurant, it's your job to know this. You're going to now have to say, like, if you just got your liquor license and you've been in business a decade, you just got your liquor license or 2 years or whatever, it's now your job to learn and teach and drive the ship forward with this. Same thing when it comes to tequila and all this. I think people are afraid not to have the Patron. But here's the interesting fact. When people come in and they go, tequila. I start talking tequila with them. They go, I don't know these tequilas. They always say to me, Marcus, I don't know these tequilas you're showing me. They must be expensive. I'm like, $45 retail, $50 retail, $55 retail, $60 retail. They're like, what do you mean? Why are they so cheap? Casamigos is 70, Clase Azul is 150, 224, whatever it is. They go, why are these tequilas so cheap? I said, because they're not celebrity tequilas. There's no
The
big $1
marketing,
million
yeah.
ad campaigns in it. This is a real family producing real products, and every single person I've ever tasted on our tequila when that have asked the big brands have always wanted to, where can I buy this bottle? Where can I buy this bottle? Where can I buy this bottle? And guess what places don't have those tequilas? The majority of other restaurants
And liquor stores.
and liquor stores.
And liquor stores.
So they have to come back to us now.
Mhm.
People come back to us because they can't get the stuff anywhere else.
The artisanal stuff. The
And
little brands. The
All
little
the small, cool
small,
boutique
yep.
wines we have, all these cool things we have, they can't get it at the liquor store. They come to us to consume it. And that's when you know this is working.
Yep.
That's the unique part, when you know this is working. I'm not expecting every restaurateur to be a wine expert and this and that, but please put some more
But
thought.
have thought and educate yourself a little bit more.
When I walk in and I see Barefoot, Josh, and Santa Margarita, I know they've done zero thought, and they're just buying it, and I know
they're just stacking it in the room, in their back storage room, bringing it out, and they know nothing about wine.
So now, quickly before we end this, so we're going on 20 minutes. We try to keep these 20 minutes. I just heard recently that one restaurant had a large wine list, but then one of the importers said, yeah, but a lot of those wines are crap wines.
So it doesn't matter how large it is, it's the quality over quantity that make a difference.
And I think a lot of restaurant owners, restaurateurs, operators get caught with the numbers. I need 100 beers on my list. I need 100 wines.
Right.
And
it's like having 100 tap beers, right?
Right.
And you look behind the bar and you're like, what kind of tap beer do you have?
So now I have a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
I've been guilty of that in the past.
Of what?
Buying.
Buying
just to fill in.
just to fill in.
Just to fill in, buying. Say, okay, you know what? Let's just fill some titles in. Let's just, just buy stuff, because I don't have this, without tasting it, without understanding it, without knowing if it's even good or not. Just filling things in.
You are definitely guilty of that.
I've been a long
you are
time.
guilty of bringing in things because we need to up that category.
But not crap.
Not crap though.
Not
Not
crap.
But you've been known to do that.
But in the past, I would bring in just because I didn't know any better.
Right.
Think, I'm going to bring in more of this. I'll have more
but
of
you learned and you made changes.
I think the majority of Mexican restaurants fall in that category.
Oh, Mexican wine
comes into tequila
too.
They just buy the tequila, buy, they fill. You have these places that say,
every place has the same. If you go to a Mexican restaurant, they all have the same tequila, they all have the same mezcal, and it's boring and it's no fun.
Right. It's no fun.
No fun.
And we love tequila, we love margaritas, and we can go to a Mexican restaurant and not even drink because of that.
Yep.
So all right. Yeah.
All right.
So
thank you for joining us today.
You build it, and it will come, right?
I think so.
And be patient with it. Be patient with it, and don't give up. This is your job. This is totally your job.
So Marcus, what if they want to get in touch with us for some help
in
terms of consulting or helping them? Because that is our mission in life, is to help other restaurateurs be more successful. So how can folks reach out to us?
50mistakes.com.
Excellent.
50mistakes.com will roll you into restaurantgrowthsecretsuniversity.com.
And we have a restaurant in Ellenville, 90 miles north of New York City, called Aroma Thyme Bistro. We've written a couple of books, which are back here.
So you can still get 50 Mistakes for free. In fact, we have to send some out. We have some orders that came in. We do. 50 mistakes that business owners make. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, you know what, Marcus? It was the guy who used to pick up our compost. He goes, you won't believe what happened, Marcus. He goes, I was talking to a lady, and she goes, you would really enjoy this book. And she handed us a copy of this book.
Oh my gosh.
She handed it. He goes, I know him. And she was like, really? Yeah. So somebody gave somebody, and they came in for their birthday, and they had a good time last Saturday or whatever day it was, Sunday. So you can get this book for free. Just pay a few bucks for shipping and handling, and we'll ship it all over the world. We just
I
shipped
think we have one going out to British Columbia.
British Columbia. We just shipped one to Australia.
Australia, yeah.
Australia, we just shipped one to.
Yeah.
This has been to over probably 50 countries now. This
Mhm.
book is in 50 countries. 50 mistakes of business owners make.
I gotta
50mistakes.com.
make myself a note, actually.
Yeah, to ship some more books
Yep.
out. So I think we need to order more too.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, then get a hold of us there.
Okay.
restaurantgrowthsecretsuniversity.com or 50mistakes, 50mistakes.com.
You could even
And
call us and we'd try to help
Yep.
you. Send us an email.
Yep.
So,
Go there, send us an email,
Yeah.
help at 50mistakes.com. And there's tons of learning stuff there. But our big thing is teaching restaurateurs how to train their team.
Mhm.
How to train your team is key, and that's what we're focusing on a lot of. But
Absolutely.
we focus on a lot of everything when it comes to restaurant operations.
So
All right, that's it, folks.
thank you for watching Test of Time. Love, passion, and hustle in the restaurant
Restaurant
business
industry,
industry.
whatever. In the restaurant world.